You know RAG agents are powerful, but building them usually feels too technical. Most people think prompting AI is enough, but half of the time it spits out nonsense or flat out lies. But there's a better way to do it where you'll actually have a RAG agent running things like customer support, training and onboarding, or information based on companies' internal knowledge base. And the best part, it's so easy that someone with zero experience can build it. So what's a RAG agent? Think of it like giving AI a superpower. Normally, a large language model can only answer based on what it's been trained on, which can lead to guessing when it doesn't know the answer. That's definitely not good if you're running a business. A RAG agent fixes that. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, which basically means the AI goes and retrieves the right information from your own database or documents before generating a response. Why does this matter? Because instead of generic answers, you get accurate, context-specific responses that will less likely get you in trouble. Imagine a customer asking about your product warranty or an employee looking for the latest HR policy and an agent doesn't guess. It pulls the exact answer straight from your data. The first thing we're gonna need is Supabase. All the tools that I will be using will be linked in the description below. Once you're in supabase.com, you're gonna go to start your project. You won't have this, but you will be able to click new project, which is what you're gonna do. I'm gonna name my project. You can name it whatever you want. RAG demo. We're gonna type in a password. Make sure you don't forget it. Hit create new project. Sometimes it does take a bit for the green circle to pop up. So for now, this is all we're gonna do with Supabase. We'll come back to it later. We're now gonna head to embedding. If you're not familiar with this, it's basically a software tool where we're gonna be building out our AI automations. If you have it installed, you're just gonna create a new workflow. For this demo, I'm going to be building a pickleball referee agent by uploading this 88-page PDF official rulebook into our database. Okay, back in embedding, we're gonna create our first node, which will be a Google node, Google Drive specifically. We're gonna open actions. We're gonna need download file. If you don't have an account, go to create credential, open the docs, and just follow the steps on how to do that. If you want me to create a video on how to do that and walk you step by step, let me know in the comments. Now that I'm connected to my account, I just need to find the file in my Google Drive. 2025 USA Pickleball Rulebook. That's the one. All right, let's execute the step, test it out. There we have it. It's now downloaded as binary data. So we're gonna go back to our canvas. Now we're gonna feed it into our Supabase vector database. So we're gonna hit this plus sign on the top right, type in Supabase vector store. And we're gonna want add documents to vector store. Then you're gonna create your credential. And what we're gonna need is we're gonna need our host and our service role secret. Don't worry, it's pretty easy. I'll show you right now. We're gonna head back to our Supabase. Your project status should be green. We're gonna go over to the left, go to project settings, then hit data API. So this URL here is our host. Go ahead and copy that. We're gonna go back to embedding. We're gonna paste that here. Then we're gonna go back to Supabase to get the secret. Now you're gonna go to API key. So go ahead and reveal this key and then copy. Once you've gotten that key, you're gonna paste that secret key right here. All right, I'm just gonna name this one to my account. Now we need to create a table. If we go down to table name, we can see that there's none here. So to create that, we're gonna go to docs up in the top right. We're gonna scroll down till you see Quicksoft for setting up your vector store. Then we're gonna copy this SQL command right here. So hit copy. Then we're gonna go back to our Supabase, hover to the left-hand side and hit SQL editor. Paste that right here, then hit run editor. It's going to be titled documents, but if you want to change that name, just go ahead and type that right here where it says documents after you delete it, and then change all the highlighted instances where it says documents, the same name that you created up here. All right, now we're going to go back to embedding. You may not see it yet, but go ahead and refresh the page. Make sure you save it, refresh. All right, now we should be able to see that. There you go, document. And if you did create a different name, you're gonna have to change this. Let's say you changed it to demo. It would have to be match_demo instead of documents. Now we have to set the settings for chunking and embedding. So chunking is basically splitting long documents into smaller pieces like chunks so the AI can handle them more effectively. Embedding is turning each chunk into numerical vectors, a kind of a fingerprint that captures its meaning so the RAG agent can quickly search and retrieve the most relevant chunks when answering a question. So to chunk it up, we're gonna hit documents down here. Go ahead and use default data loader. And I'm gonna leave it as simple, which is basically splitting every 1,000 characters with a 200 character overlap. You can customize it if you want to. Next, you can see here that it says JSON under type of data. Our PDF is actually binary data. So we're gonna have to change it to binary data. Next, we're gonna add our embedding. So back to Canvas, hit the plus sign, embeddings OpenAI. So if you haven't made an account, all you need is an API key. So go over to openai.com, log into API platform, create an account or just log in, go over to settings, go over to API keys, then go ahead and create a key, copy that, and we're gonna paste that right here. And if you haven't done so already, go to billing and add in about like $5. It goes a long way. It's lasted me more. Once you have an API key, hit save, should go green, should be good to go. Then you can go to model. I typically go with text embedding 3 small. I don't know too much about what that means, but it's been working fine for me. All right, now let's test this out. Let's go back to Canvas. I'm gonna execute this whole thing. Had to refresh it. Now let's execute it. Make sure before you refresh, you save all your data. You can save it right up here. All right, now we have 159 vectors, and I'll show you what they mean. So we go back to our RAG or Supabase. You're gonna go to your left and go to table, documents. There you go. So you go to table editor, then you're going to open your documents. So these are all the vectors separated by 1,000 characters with 200 overlap for each one. So if you scroll down, it's basically all the text from that PDF file of all the pickleball rules. All right, let's go back to embedding. Now we need to communicate with an AI agent that can pull information from this vector database. Let's go with AI agent. We're going to connect it to chat trigger node for now for demonstration purposes. But if you want to connect it to, let's say, an email, your Gmail, your Telegram, your WhatsApp, your Slack, or even a webhook for your website, you can go ahead, hit define below, and then whatever variable you have or the query that you had, just drag that over to your prompt. But for this example, I'm just going to do a chat trigger since we're just testing things. Go ahead and connect that. I'm going to change this back to chat trigger. Next, we have to give our agent a brain. So go ahead and hit this chat model plus sign right here. Go to OpenAI. I usually go with 4.1 mini. Alrighty. Now we're going to add a tool. Supabase vector store. That's the one. Click that. Operation mode, retrieve document. Just leave that. For description, use this tool to retrieve the rules of pickleball from table. Remember, we left it as documents, but whatever you renamed it to. This is just a number of vectors. I'll leave it at 4. We also have to embed the query. Let's exit out of here because this step is even more simple because we already created an embedding. We just connect that to the other one just like that. Now that we have most of it set up, let's test it out. Let's open this chat. Let's see if it understands my question. How do you score pickleball? All right, looks like it was working. It's using the vector database. Make this a little bit bigger. In pickleball, scoring depends on the type of rally scoring being used. Typically, a point is scored by the player or team that wins each rally. However, in matches with provisional rally scoring, a game point can be only scored when serving. Okay, let's see if it's all correct. Okay, for matches that use provisional rally scoring options, point is scored by the player or team that wins each rally, except game point can only be scored when serving. Oh wow, verbatim. But there's one issue with this because we haven't connected a memory to this. What I mean is every time we ask another question, let's say it's related to scoring again, it's going to have to research the whole vector store for scoring and come up with the answer again versus referring back to the vectors that it just retrieved to come up with another answer. If that was confusing, let me show you. If we go back to AI agent and go over to logs, you can see everything behind the scene that's happened. This step, we can see our query, which is how do you score in pickleball? Then you can go to Supabase vector data store, which was this next step. It fed that query into the vector database. Then it pulled 4 vectors that were related to scoring. You don't want to have to run this step every time. That's why we're given it a memory so it can refer back to all these vectors. To add a memory, we're going to click the plus sign down here where it says memory. Then we're going to add Postgres chat memory. Then we're going to create credential. It's a little bit different from our other credentialing, but I'll show you what to do. So we're going to go back to our Supabase, then click connect, scroll down. You're going to look for a transaction puller right over here. Let's expand the parameters. And for our host, let's copy that, go back to edit, delete that, paste that here. Now we need Postgres. I think it's the same. Database Postgres, it's the same. And user is this. So let's copy that, delete, paste. And the password is that same password we created when we created this Supabase project. So I'm gonna go ahead and type that in, hit save, and it should go green. Actually, I forgot to change one more thing. Scroll down and you see port. I think that's gonna be a different number. So let's go back to here, transaction puller, port right here. So it's different, paste that right there. Now, every time we chat with our agent, it's gonna be able to remember everything that we've said to it and all the responses that it's given to us. And if you open Postgres again, you can see context window. This number means the number of past messages it will store. All right, so now we're gonna go back to Canvas. Let's refresh this. I'm going to say, I'm Kevin and I'm 34 years old. All right. So now I'm going to go back to Supabase and show you what it just did. So if you can see here, edit in chat history, you can see the human response. Hi, I'm Kevin. And then also the agent's response. Hello, Kevin. Yada, yada. So if we go back, it should be able to remember my name and age. What's my name and age? So now, yeah, it looked through the Postgres. Your name is Kevin and you are 34 years old. How can I assist you further? There you go. One more thing that I do want to mention is that it's storing these messages based on their session ID. I'll show you here. So you see the session ID here. It's being able to recognize each conversation based on this code here. So every time you refresh this, it's starting a new session. So it won't be referring from any of the previous conversations that you've had with it. Let's say you're using Gmail, Telegram, Slack, whatever. This session ID can be someone's email. It can be a chat ID in a Slack conversation. It can be a chat ID in a Telegram conversation. Or if you have a website, it can be their email or username. That's how these conversations are going to be stored. This is a pretty simple setup. You can apply it to any use case that you want, but if you want to see how you can create an email AI agent and connect that vector database, check out this video. That way your AI agent can pull from that vector database to come up with very accurate answers based on whatever knowledge base you gave it. Make sure you check out my channel because I go over a ton of different automations and AI agents and different type of builds. And if you like this content, do me a huge favor and subscribe to my channel.